Yeah, that's the most I can give you.
Fine. Then it's time for the ace up my sleeve. My beloved squishy pig with
original holographic cover art.
Hey, Ash, what you selling?
Save the references, Jake from State Farm. I'm saying goodbye. This little piggy went to the game store.
You don't have to sell your favorite games. State Farm has coverage options, so you get a rate that fits your budget.
Thanks, Jake. Hands off the squish.
For surprisingly great rates that fit any budget, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
Welcome back, everybody, to Worlds 2022, where both Chiefs Esports clubs and Beyond Gaming are hunting for their first wins of the day. An important note right off the top for Beyond Gaming: Maokai is out, Liang is in. So we've got a bit of a roster shuffle as the pressure mounts for each of these squads, looking to put wins in those win columns, keep themselves competitive for the top 4 and a shot out of the group.
And an incredibly important game for Chiefs. They are winless so far through 3 games, but actually, if they won their next 2, they would be through. If they lose this one, they're out.
Wow.
So this is absolutely do or die for Chiefs.
And I feel like when we look at Chiefs, I mean, even just looking at the game that we just saw not too long ago, right? We set up earlier, it's about Arthur being able to find that impact in the early game. I mean, fair play to EG, they found the way to shut him down, right? A lot of mid-prio coming out and then just constantly invading him in his own jungle. But I still feel like that's the same recipe for success going up against Beyond.
Yeah, so if we liked this look for Chiefs, what was it that EG either did to stop them, that Chiefs can protect against this time, or what can Chiefs just do that much better this time to make sure it's successful?
Yeah, my opinion for Chiefs, especially when they go to the international stage, because they were so dominant domestically, like 40-2, they can kind of play whatever they wanted. I really need to see Tally on something that can move towards other lanes.
Okay.
So you can't necessarily blind pick Galio. If they could find a Galio angle, that would be amazing. Maybe just go for Taliyha straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Something that can roam to other lanes to make plays. I think he's a very good team player, but not an incredibly strong laner.
I mean, even thinking about the champions we've seen him on so far, right? Swain, Seraphine, Victor, nothing, like Jeff's saying, right? Nothing that can find that impact on their side. To where for Beyond, even despite the fact that they're also coming off a loss today, I actually feel like they had that really good fight up against DFM. Husha was another player who we were saying, hey, he was able to find that impact. He had a great early game. And then when DFM started to overstep, he found some really good ultimates to be able to punish. So I definitely feel like Beyond are the ones coming in more comfortable into this matchup. They have found stuck with a style that's worked. I feel like in their laning phases as well, they are just that tiny bit better. So it's going to be about if Chiefs can shut that down.
Now, it does feel like then for both sides, and as is pretty standard for this tournament so far, that the spotlight will be on both the junglers and the mid laners. How can they accelerate those mid laners, get them to those side lanes, and actually get some work done? Now, while this is such an important matchup for both teams, and very specifically the Chiefs, we wanted to do a little exercise. So I'm going to hop on over to the telestrator here. Because we're narrowing in towards the end of play-ins, right? And so we've got to figure out what our bracket is going to look like. So this is a good opportunity for us to kind of break down again how it all actually works and hypothesize who we think is going to take up each slot. So a quick reminder that the #1 seed from each group auto-qualifies into the group stage of the main event for Worlds. That's why you don't see a #1 anywhere here on this bracket. Instead, it will be the second seeded team from each group that gets slotted into the qualification round. And then the 3 and 4 seed of each group will have to play each other for the opportunity to play the opposite group 2 seeds. So we've kind of laid this out here. We've got a few games to go today, 8 games to go tomorrow to determine who will fill these slots. So initial thoughts, Jeff.
Let's try and work backwards.
Okay.
Let's do the easy one.
DRX is first, and if they beat Mad, which would make things crazy, they would be first seed, which then I think makes RNG second seed.
Exactly.
So let's put RNG in B2.
In B2. Okay, so I'm just gonna put DRX here as the auto qualifier.
Yeah.
And then you're saying RNG is going
that
to
would be the B2 slot.
Snag
Most
the B2
likely.
slot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like kind of staying on that same pathway of just going with what looks easiest to slot in. I would actually say ignoring the A slot for a second would be B3 and 4. Like, it looks like it's going to be Mad versus Saigon Buffaloes going in.
For B3 and 4.
Exactly. Neither Izurus or Istanbul Wildcats have picked up a win.
Mad. Okay, Mad and Saigon. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Now, do you think it is Mad as the 3 and Saigon as the 4?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that'd be fair.
That's pretty likely. Mad's currently 3-1, Saigon
Okay.
2-2.
I will put the 4 seed in blue. Okay.
I'm glad we switched to you being the writer.
What Saigon's tri code is it?
SGB.
Is SGB? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
You could just draw a buffalo as well if you like. I'd like to see your artistic.
I'll leave that to Emily. When Emily's on the broadcast, you can ask her to draw the animals.
So here's the trick. The winner of that game, of the Mad Saigon Buffalo, will play number 2 from Group A.
Correct.
But the biggest debate for us is who is going to be number 2 from Group A, because that's the most up
Slash who will be number 1, right? Yeah, exactly. Because it got interesting. Before today, everyone would have said, yeah, Fnatic is actually just going to run the table. And now it's a lot more questionable. So let's work through that, because what do we think it's going to be? Right now, there is a tie between EG and Fnatic, but that becomes a 3-way tie. It gets even more crazy.
Right. I think the most likely is a 2-way tie between EG and Fnatic, and then the winner of that tiebreaker game, with Fnatic having side select, would go in.
So you keep it with Fnatic?
If it was like a couple hours later, I'd say EG's first.
I'm leaning Fnatic.
Fnatic should be first.
Fnatic.
Based on them playing.
Okay,
before,
I agree.
We'll put
I
EG
agree.
in this slot.
So Fnatic will get that first seed here, which means that EG will be awaiting the winner of Mad versus Saigon Buffalo here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we need to figure out this matchup and then declare the winners of those matchups to see where we're going.
We're actually solving playing right now.
Yeah, we're doing it all right now.
I feel like it should be Loud and DFM that goes through, sadly for Beyond, because Beyond still has to play Fnatic left.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not buying in on the Chiefs miracle.
So Loud gets the 3 seed?
Yeah, well,
let's do it.
Let's say yeah.
Okay.
Lock it in.
Loud DFM.
Loud, and then boom. DFM. We can come back and decide who wins those later, because I hear they're heading into champion select, and so we're not gonna waste no time. Get ourselves back in the game. Quick shot, Mark Z, take it away.
Woohoo! Picks and bands, welcome back to
We're
coming in hot and heavy. Once again, as a quick reminder, in case you missed Dash, right at the top of the section, if Chiefs lose this game, they are eliminated from playoffs contention. Chiefs would need to win today and take down Loud tomorrow. If they do that, they advance.
Yes, and that's why it is still a bit of a run that Beyond need to make, and they have made the change from Maokai to Liang to come in, which is a bit of a surprise for me to see that happen.
Why is it a surprise? What do we know about Liang? I mean, I remember playing in Spring, but that's it.
Yeah, so he played in Spring. He did play a lot of carries in that split. Like, for example, Tryndamere, when that was kind of meta, that was the most played he had. Also played a lot of Jace and Graves were his 3 most played. So you would expect there's some champ pool thing that they think they see for him to come in, because Likai took the spot from him in summer. They still swapped a little bit, but Likai also picked up most improved player for the PCS in summer, and so that felt pretty good for them to then also make that kind of playoff run that they had. And so going back to Liang here is a bit of a surprise, but I assume maybe they just think the Aatrox line for him is better, though I'm not quite sure.
Well, I'm taking a look at the moment at Liang's all-time record. On Aatrox, he's played 11 games, only won 27% of them. And when I was taking a look at, his games from Spring, 0 Aatrox games under his belt. So maybe it's a practice thing. Maybe, as you mentioned, when I look at the entire pool, there are more carries in Liang's pool than Likai's, at least, professionally speaking. Maybe it is an experience thing, I'm not sure. It's not going to run into the Kennen and the Leona.
There you go. So some counter picks coming in for the Chiefs. We've seen the Kennen into Aatrox a few times now. They're able to win lane early on if you want to get really scrappy, and the Aatrox is down to fight you. You can potentially find some solo kills. Then you also transition into a mid to late game AoE team fighter.
Something I want to talk about in-game is how good Maokai's ultimate is at throwing off or thwarting the level of engage, like a Leona, like a Kennen. Obviously, you can't interrupt that Kai'Sa jumping onto the back line, but I see a lot of discussions on Reddit around how powerful it can be later stages of the tournament. The third pick here from Beyond is going to be Sylas. So again, a lot of brawl-heavy champions already on the Rift.
Yeah, Sylas having 2 great ultimates to steal right away. Yes. So while he does not know the matchup he's playing into, Minji can feel confident grabbing a Leona or Kennen ultimate will feel fantastic. Grabbing that one up. And then like you're saying about the Maokai, just the changes that came through, it was a lot of tweaks to his kit. Even though it's functionally played quite a bit, they took like the AP ratio, the health % damage from his E and kind of stuck it on his Q at a reduced amount, but that means that you kind of get to spam it a little bit more. He started doing bonus damage to monsters to make him much stronger in the jungle. His healing from his passive got tweaked a little bit, as well as what counts as lowering the cooldown on it, which again made him a little bit better of a jungler. And so you know, now you can get this insane amount of lockdown CC like you're talking about with that ultimate, the W, the Q, all this stuff. The vision control from E is just too valuable to pass up.
I mean, Goodwood completely sold me on the tree the first couple of games. We're seeing it now rising in priority. Day 1, not so much. Day 2 and 3, starting to pick up. Do you have a lane that you prefer, or a role you prefer to see it in? I think matchup dependent, I guess, right?
Matchups will matter, of course, but I think the thing that's nice about it in the jungle is that it brings so much stability. It's this backbone for your team. We're like, great, now we have engage, now we have peel, now we have a little bit of magic damage, we have all these things, vision control that it can do, and that's what makes it such a strong pro play pick. As well as when you get higher and higher in skill, when you disjoint the W, you can use that to drop turret shots, you can go under the Azir wall that we saw, you can actually see a lot of animations and tap your W and get out from them.
I mean, if you love everything that Mark just said, go back and watch Pureshik's opening game. He basically used the sapling, and I think as Zhao said it best, as a map hack.
Yes.
I think that honestly was just such a great description, because the entire game, our observers were following Pureshik's movement around, and he was just littering the ward with those little saplings. Will we see Husha playing it or Kino? Find out in a moment. Ezreal's now been locked into the Kai'Sa Leona. One would assume that's going to be a jungle. Zhao the Hecarim and they're trying to do the last ban, so Arthur's going to look a little deeper down his champion pool. This is the player that I was talking a lot about on day 1. Player that led the charge for Chiefs down in the LCO. And he's going to have to try to find someone to disrupt BYG to keep Chiefs hopes alive.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Arthur can put the team on his back. Right now, Chiefs not only looking for the first win in this tournament, but also this year for Oceania, with Order in MSI going 0-8. They have not found a win at international competition yet this year. A lot of people were very excited about Chiefs for how much they dominated in summer, split their own region, put some expectations on them that they should be able to make a little bit of noise in the group stage, and not finding a win yet. Definitely feeling tough for them. They pivot off the Ahri. I thought they might go for this very scrappy comp where you have this Zhao running between top and mid, trying to make fights happen. Still a similar idea, but a little bit more controlled than what Jet, I think it was, who on the desk was looking for from Taliyha, having a roaming mid laner.
I mean, the thing that I also really like about that Weaver's Wall can be hugely influential in kind of a similar way to what the Nature's Cross can do in terms of disrupting a fight, stopping engages, like really slowing things down. So it can be used to great effect in any of those objectives. And with the Alistar now locked in, we've got the 2-team composition secured. How do the respective teams want to win their games?
I think for the side of Chiefs, it's about getting mid-jungle 2v2 prio and then roaming into side lanes where you're probably making dives happen with that Leona or with the Kennen. Both of them have incredible CC in your side lanes to make things go. For Beyond, they have very good scaling. We've seen Ezreal starting to get played a little bit now. Obviously becomes disgusting over time, especially if you can land your Qs for Wako. And then the Sylas scales well. Maokai scales extremely well. The Aatrox has become pretty threatening as he gets more and more items. He gets these insane resetting team fights, and even just on one item with flips now, it's just a strong champion all game long. That's kind of why his highest presence in the tournament.
Very, very powerful. Mark, can I play a little quick stat game with you?
You can try.
How many games has Tally played professionally? Give me a round up to the nearest 10.
Give me a 30 seconds.
No, I said guess. You can't check.
I can't
guess.
check?
Guess.
370.
That's actually not bad. 300 professional games rounded up. Do you want to know how many of those games are Taliyha? I'll tell you. 2. And he won both of them. They were from this
100% win rate, baby!
That's what I wanted to hear. Now, to be fair, a lot of the Chiefs' win rates are at 100% from this summer because they did only drop that single game.
And I will say, to defend him a little bit,
Yes.
his Swain has been getting banned first side now. On no matter what they're doing, enemies will ban that out. And I know he didn't dominate with that champion specifically, but it was his most played in summer and did play it a couple times on the world stage. And people saw enough good from it that they said they wanted to take it away from him. And unfortunately for Chiefs, there's sometimes this critical mass that you can hit in draft where there's just too many pocket picks. They have to start leaving something through. It doesn't feel like that's the case for Chiefs right now. So they can keep removing Tally's best champion and one of the best champions for Chiefs as a whole. And there's nothing that they were able to find that punishes that kind of high prioritization where most people just let Swain go through.
I mean, I think that Swain as well is definitely another one of those sort of sleeper picks that we're seeing pop up a little bit more. I think Mad Lions used it for a win earlier today. It was banned out by the Evil Geniuses when they targeted Chiefs, as you mentioned already. That sort of favored pick. But right now on the Taliyha, we'll be facing down against the Sylas. Minji's going to be looking to push in as you would anticipate until that thread volley can work. And right now, we're already seeing just defensive start from BYG.
Yep, I think Beyond's going to play this one pretty safe for the entire game. We've seen a couple times now where teams feel like that they have the advantage. There's a lot to play for. They start going for safer, sturdier picks. I do want to comment on the Aatrox comment because I was trolling Reddit last night and I saw some people wondering about why you do it. One reason is the comet itself. Obviously, if you're just going to be into range matchups, you can land your Q1 tipper. That knockup will guarantee that the comet lands and allows you to get some decent trades throughout what is usually a pretty tough lane phase. The other thing is in the first tree, getting the nullifying orb. Knowing that you might get dove, you might see ganks come your way, being able to negate some of that burst that the Kennen's able to throw down, stuff like that. Nimbus Cloak with your ultimate as well. People often go, you go flying in there, stuff like that.
I mean, when you combine that also with the damage that's going to come out from that 3-talent strike, audacious charge from Arthur on that Zhao, I mean, it definitely makes sense. Right now, Wako and Kino, they're going to be a little bit later to lane. They did stick around and help Husha out just for a brief moment at Kai'Sa and Leona. Try to bully as much as they can. This is where Kino decides to move around the map as Topoon already starting to chuck down those autos. He's got himself that Q already leveled up, and Liang taking a lot of damage. Zenith Blade tagged out. This is level 1 fight. Aladoric is losing this trade quite dramatically. However, trading a little bit of HP on Wako.
Yeah, getting some trades, knowing that they're going to hit the level 2 power spike first. Sometimes you can, find that angle where you get in, get that right as you kind of fly in there, but just trading out evenly, getting some pressure in the bot lane. We also have the fact that Arthur started top 2 bots clear, means that you want to get Prio down there. Maybe they can set up an early roam out of Taliyha or something.
Well, right now, Husha is going to start on that red buff. I'm keeping a close eye on the positioning from Arthur. I'm sure if you have watched the Chiefs games already, you know that he was by far and away the best jungler from the LCO. And as far as Chiefs were concerned, the team, the super team, they only dropped that single game all summer long. All year, because of just the 2. Instead, Arthur's now already on that screen. Decided to peel backwards. All 3 lanes are pushing into Beyond, so there's not a huge amount of options for Arthur laning-wise, hence the reason he's going blue buff.
And that's kind of what we're talking about with Beyond playing this more defensive style in this game, knowing that they're not going to be able to win early on. Does give Chiefs the opportunity to call their own plays. Like we said, Taliyha on the early move.
Marcus is exactly what you wanted to see. They fancy the dub, there's not enough minions. Not going to risk that one yet. Also, exhaust and cleanse, respectively, for Kino and Wako. So I like the sort of idea here from Chiefs. At least they are showing that they've got control of this early phase.
And, I mean, it's tough against an Alistar to make that level 2 dive happen.
Exactly.
And that's also, I think, why you saw Aladoric going in aggressively. Make the lane states volatile, put people at low HP. Makes ganks easier. People are already starting the gank at half health. Easier to finish off.
Minji step forward with that one. Flash is still available to him. Sapling toss could be helpful. Aladoric is looking to sidestep. Flash up. It's going to be forcing away Minji, and that's not going to be successful. However, pressure again, movement around the map. Every single member of Chiefs contributing.
Yeah, really nice start for Chiefs. The fact that Aladoric kind of got broken out of the lane phase as well with the early pressure from Arthur and Tally. He kind of repays that favor. Flashing for Flash in the mid lane means that there's potential now for Tally if he can land a flick, or Arthur just wants to flash on top of him. Minji will be exposed in the mid lane. And for Leona, having Hex Flash, probably the best one to give it up. I thought for a second Arthur was going to go Flash W. When becomes Lightning, pretty telegraphed. So with this one, having that flash still on Arthur, whereas Aladoric in lane phase can still set up ganks with Hex Flash.
Yeah, I really prefer that on the Leona as well. We know that Aladoric, I mean, that level 1 engage is already signaling. The thing I always try to interpret how the teams play, how emboldened they are to make those decisions, because it gives you a tiny bit of insight into their mindset or their mentality to a degree, right? Now, this is a team that has also dominated significantly through the LCO by doing exactly that sort of thing. And Kino gonna try to jump onto Topoon. He's still got Flash, he's still got that Ian. Will not get caught just yet, so easy escape.
Yeah, that ward spotting him just in time, right before it timed out. Kino gave a bit of an advance warning for Topoon to know to start running away right when Liang went for that first Q1, so gets out of there safe. But I like your point about the mindset, because when you are a team that wins so much and then you go to international stage and you start taking losses, not just on stage presumably, but having tougher scrim sets and things like that, it can be hard sometimes to preserve your identity. You are used to smurfing on people. You're used to being able to play aggressive. And the fact that Chiefs in this all-important game are still playing aggro.
Well, there's the engage when it becomes Lightning. Zenith Blade, double Bramble smash! The headbutt backwards! Arthur does get taken down. First blood secured by Minji, and Kino's the next target. Aladoric can't stick to him. Tally has got no rocks to throw. Only the single threaded volley. Seismic shove comes backwards, but can Tally the King be slayed by Minji? Throws out the minefield and they escape. 2-0 to Beyond in a 1,300 gold lead.
Beyond just sniff out that play in the mid lane. There is a ward you can see kind of on the ramp into blue buff that in the river can spot the move by Aladoric that allows Beyond Gaming to kind of camp, knowing that that pressure is going to be coming from Minji's flash. Everyone knows that's the mini objective for this game right now, is the fact that, all right, Minji doesn't have flash, Chiefs are going to want to go mid. Good vision by Kino, good roams, knowing where he needs to be to turn that 3v3 in their favor.
Yeah, that means that Chiefs, in a do-or-die game, lose this, you're eliminated from playoffs, cannot advance. The LCO will then go to 0-13, 0-12 on the year. And this is how it started. I mean, Chiefs of the Run, they were hunting Minji.
Yeah, they saw Aladoric moving up the river, so they know that they want to target Minji. It's about being here at the right time. Nice flick by Tally to set this up, but the CC that comes in from Alistar and Maokai's gross, plus the Maokai Q knocked them behind them, which gave the free headbutt for Kino to put them under turret. Might have been scrappy if not for that. If it's just a straight 3v3, I think Chiefs have better damage for fighting, but because they were able to land just better CC combos, they won that one so decisively.
I'm pretty confident the moment that Audacious Charge landed, there was one small forward step from Husha, and he got that Bramble Smash. I mean, it was just so nicely done. And it allows the fact that Minji Sylas gets 2 kills secured already. You've talked about the ultimates that he can steal. There are a number, like literally other than Weaver's Wall, every single one of his ultimates is going to have gigantic impact in team fights, and he's already the member that's being fed.
We've seen a lot of Sylas this tournament. Some people going so far as to first pick it no matter what's up. It's a champion that when they get going, it's pretty tough to stop a Sylas. He scales so well. The AP ratios on his kit are actually disgusting.
I think Hijacked Solar Flare is, in my opinion, the most OP of all the ulti that he can see. Yes, the Slicing Maelstrom's great, but that is conditional on him either landing the chains or, you know, them being on top of him. But every time I see a Hijacked Solar Flare just being fired to, like, literally Death Star laser beam someone today, it brings me just sadness.
I mean, so the alt ratio conversion thing is what a lot of people often talk about, but his W has a 90% AP ratio on the damage. There's also the healing portion as well that you can get into. 100% AP ratio on the second part of his E, and his Q has a 40 and a 90 on the 2 different portions.
Those numbers are huge. The Zenith Blade connects before the Arcane Shift, and Wako is smackoed. Will be burning down. That's not yet. He's not dead just yet. Arthur will be able to secure this one as Raes flashes forward, followed up by Aladoric, and it's Arthur that gets the kill first of the game for Chiefs.
All right, Chiefs not out of it quite yet. Aladoric getting on top of Wako, finding that kill. Nicely done there. Getting it onto Arthur as well. Feels not bad, having a little bit more agency in the game to actually take potentially 2v2s around mid and top.
I mean, the gold is still, like, bang on even. The CS advantage for Topoon in the top lane is a large part of that reason. The kill secured in the bottom lane will also unlock the first dragon. So 9 minutes in, just after that, this Mountain Drake will take a fair amount of time here for Arthur to solo it down. It is at the concession, or it is conceding the Rift Herald. And now we get to see Tower Dive mechanics. Come on, Tower Dive mechanics. Let's see. Pick up the aggro, drop it with that Twisted Advance.
All right, ult available for Topoon. No flash, though. And we see Aladoric in range to try and back this one up.
There's a Hex Flash forward. Slicing Maelstrom does little to nothing. Zenith Blade will at least stun up Husha, and the aggro will not be reset. I wasn't quite sure if you picked that up, but how did it... Yeah.
Might have been just
Sapling, maybe?
W damage as well, potentially, if you pick it up. If no one else grabs the turret aggro while you're in that invulnerability phase, you will pick it up right away. So I believe that's what happened there for Husha. Unlucky, but they do get the 1-for-1. Aladoric not going to be denied just because that first roam in the mid lane went bad. Still going all over the map.
The one thing I will say, which I'm really happy about between these two respective teams, they are anticipating one of those moves. You know, that mid lane dive onto Minji, beyond read it like a book, were able to respond. The dive up top onto Topoon, Aladoric was already there. They at least get an even trade out of it. So there's a level of understanding here and a quality in strength. Look at that mini-map. Aladoric just making it to range.
Yeah, I really like it. The fact that they just got the kill on the bot side means that they don't need to help protect the dragon take by Arthur. So he goes up top side, lands a nice double ultimate there. Does end up being the 2-for-1, and there, I guess, just still grab the turret. Okay.
Wasn't able to get any autos down from the rest of the team, and that will mean 2 kills to 3, but the dragon secured is going to be advantageous, and I think crucial as well. It's a huge amount. Front line, and all of a sudden Topoon is once again under third. His flash is just a couple seconds away. That's the flash Twisted Advance, and the flash from Topoon is just a moment too late. No Summoner Spell available to him. A Darkened Blade from Liang sends Topoon packing, and of course that's a substitute player. Keep in mind, Liang coming in 1-0-1. A little bit bullied, but doing just fine.
Yeah, so far, did go down in CS with all the attention. The other parts of the lane did give some extended laning to the Kennen, which is, like we said, something that is a little bit annoying for Aatrox if you're not being able to land a ton of sweet spots. But finally, Husha getting up there. They flash W from Maokai. Pretty unfair to have to deal with such a powerful gank.
I mean, it's just 2 screens away effectively, right, when you combine those 2 abilities. But it will once again put Beyond in the advantage. They were able to pick up the first couple of kills, get the first gold lead. It was bounced back from Chiefs and now once again arrested. Minji's flash will be blown to get away from the Zenith Blade. Solar Blade doesn't connect onto anyone. The Crescent Guard has been hijacked and used. Minji saves his jungler's life and the teleport comes out here from Liang. He had just recalled, I believe. And that will mean that no further action comes from it. But again, that's that indicator here from Chiefs. They want to force the fight. They're playing on the front foot. They're trying to use this composition that has a lot of go forward buttons to try to get and shut down Beyond.
Unfortunately, it was a 5-man commit, though, that Beyond were able to stuff out. Wako was able to stay down on the bot side by himself, get a bunch of turret plates, also allowing this Rift Herald to come through for first turret of the game going in Beyond's favor, absorbing that 5-man pressure. Like you said, Minji having a great usage of the Zhao ultimate.
I mean, that's the risk, right? The double-edged sword. Throwing everything in the kitchen sink at your enemy team. If that lands, great, you knock them out, you pick up an advantage. But you're already in a deficit. You at least have a dragon, so that's one step towards a win condition. When you don't get the kills, you concede the ultimates, you lose that bottom tower, and all of a sudden, this Ezreal that is, quietly scaling up. Minji's already 3-0, got a 300 gold bounty. The CS deficit that Liang was in is not only negated, he's got a kill and an assist to his name. So it's all starting to go Beyond's way. If you were to look at your crystal ball a little bit further into the game, Mark, do you prefer one composition sort of scaling? Let's say either just raw power or maybe ease of execution?
I would say a little bit both to Beyond Gaming. Power, obviously, I think Sylas is gross, as I've made known. I think Aatrox scales well. I think that the Maokai does as well. But the other thing is it's very easy.
Find out. Flash away. Slicing Maelstrom. Solar Flare. SS suck. That engage did not work as Liang literally just dashes and flashes to safety.
Yeah, the E lands, but during that time that you're going out there, you can still get some abilities out. And so Aladoric had already kind of seemed like buffered his ultimate to go where the E landed, not to where the flash ended up taking him. So unluckily not able to chain CC him. That means Kennen ult's not able to get on top of him exactly either.
If I were in game with Chiefs and you see these very small differences, because the almost exact same thing happened mid lane. Aladoric trying to jump into the he didn't get the abilities down. It almost feels like there's too much aggression. There's too, take a breath, slow it down. Really make sure you layer your CC correctly, because there's so many tools here from Chiefs, but they're just firing haphazardly from the waist and not finding their target.
I think they're hungry to make a play happen, and you're up there, you have the resources committed. You saw again, during that time, Wako was just sitting mid, hitting them. You also had Minji down the bot lane during that time, and so not only are you eager to make a play just for your own mental state, but also the pace of the game. These other people have not committed to defending completely, and so Liang able to get out of there by himself means that now he can, walk back up to this turret, keep defending it, and the rest of Beyond just keeps farming away.
Absolutely love that graphic just popped up. The turret plate secured. Beyond about plus 800 gold just from turret plates. That means their gold lead is just over 2,500 in the lead. Dragon secured here by Beyond. That's the Infernal. So now we're going to be playing on a Cloud Rift. Just 3 members of Chiefs. Make that 4 members of Chiefs are now continuing to pressure. Teleport is available for Minji. He's in the bottom lane. Zenith Blade won't find its target, nor will that Raes Seeker. And all of a sudden, Raes will just pop Kino, get the teleport as well. And all of a sudden, Wako's now looking for Arthur. Nature's Grasp thrown down, they engage, flash over the wall. Husha's now coming from behind. Minji has stolen that Solar Flare, does so much damage. Minji's on a rampage, got himself the 4th. Arthur and Tali running for their lives. Topoon may be too late to the fray, won't even fire that slicing Maelstrom. And Liang is looking to end LCO's world, picking up another 7 kills to 3,000 gold up.
Beyond Gaming answer that play out. Yes, Chiefs were able to find the initial kill under the turret onto Kino, but already they were moving up to the top side, no way out. Arthur tried to fight his way out by hopping on top of Wako, not able to quite do it though. A bunch more kills going in their favor. No major objectives really beyond this second Rift Herald that has just spawned, so gonna grab this one away for Beyond. We'll see where they want to use it. Probably gonna try and break mid lane turret.
This is where you start to get scared though, Mark. 203 Aatrox, 401 Sylas. I mean, look at the minimap just before I hand over. That split push pressure from Minji, he tried to come in, it didn't work out.
Yeah, you can see the teleport coming underneath the turret. He could have even gone for a nastier flank going onto the pink wards in River instead, but wanted to make sure that the dive did not continue onto Liang. Wako moving up to the river. That's where you saw Arthur make the decision to hop on top of him, but already Husha's behind. There's just not a clear angle for them to take at all to try and survive this on the side of the Chiefs. Very difficult, and you see the power of that Maokai so sticky once he's in the chase down sequence.
I've got this feeling in my stomach that, like, beyond gaming's advantages, most of them have come from punishing the overreaches from Chiefs. Do you think that's fair to say, or is it a bit of a stretch?
No, I think it's fair to say. I mean, there haven't been like too many of their own dives. There's one on the top side, but at the same time, that was kind of what we were saying strategically made the most sense for the comp to do. Yeah, if you can get good vision out, see where the enemy's going to be going, and either choose to get up there and counter it or move away from it and just keep farming plates and things like that. I think Beyond Gaming's done a very good job of seeing all the plays coming and never being surprised, really. Always knowing what their decision was going to get them, whether that be farm, turret plates, or kills.
Man, 4,000 gold up already. 2.5 minutes until the next dragon spawns. And let's not disregard the fact that there is a lot of team fighting tools here from Chiefs, but that window or the difficulty with which you want to make that work into an Alistar, into the Maokai, into the Aatrox is going to be more difficult.
And this is one of the things that I was going to touch on when you were asking about, you know, comp favorites. I really like when it's... Oh, hold on. Every time I try and talk about it, someone's going to die.
It's not the case, though. Let's find out. Liang will get caught by the solar flare. So Zenith Blade correction. Nicely done. This time round, Liang does get absolutely focused. Every single crowd control ability lands. Minion wave has been cleared out here by Raes, and Taliyha and Arthur may want to engage. The seismic shove was timed perfectly from Tally. So Liang the only concession, but another cross map. Minji and Beyond, they have an answer to the proactive plays of Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs still working their way back in the game. Getting the flash out of the Maokai out is pretty big. We'll see if that matters at all in a minute and a half when the Dragon comes up. He also committed his ultimate to zoning Raes away from the turret. It's very powerful and very nice to do that, but when the enemy teams collapse and they kill you, now you don't have that to peel for yourself to get out of there. That's one of the reasons he lost his flash.
So Mark, I think we will have a little bit of time here. Composition, Chiefs, what did you like about it?
Sturdiness.
Sturdiness.
How hard it is to actually insta-gib someone in terms of Maokai being very tanky, in terms of stopwatches and Zonias, and however Sylas wants to build. He has a lot of build paths he can go to make sure that he is itemizing against the biggest threats. Double AP Soul Lane, Banshees make sense. So for Chiefs, the way that normally you get back in the game is we're going to find someone and blow them up with a Leona and a Kennen, and you're going to insta-give someone. But so many members on the side of Beyond are just hard to do that to. Even Ezreal is notoriously slippery. You have an ultimate that drops 50% damage reduction. Liang is the squishiest, easiest to do it to. That's why they're targeting him.
The observers have made it very, 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 very clear what was coming. If you're looking at that screen, we got a long-range zoom out. Liang stepped all the way forward. His flash was forced, but at what cost? What's happening? I mean, Herald's dropped mid, bottom's being shoved in. Chiefs can do one step, but not much more. So
I'm sure Beyond and Chiefs have both identified what I'm talking about, where it's like the easiest person to really make plays on is that Aatrox. Yeah, he has the Eclipse that makes him scary in drain tank situations, but 100 to 0 is very easy to take care of right now. And so Chiefs are trying to pick on the only real exposed member that they can kind of make these plays work onto.
I mean, when you think about it, right? Kennen, Zhao, Kai'Sa, there is a lot of pretty high burst damage if they layer it together. Fortunately for them, Liang was too slippery that time around. Not in a position to contest, still behind. We're 20 minutes on the clock in just a moment. And the second dragon here will be secured. And for Beyond, now that they've got, 37k under their belt, 2 dragons under their belt, nearly 2 items across the board, it's just Minji there at the Everfrost and the Banshee's Veil completed. Now we'll wait for Liang and Wako to pick up. They've got through the most difficult parts of the game for their composition, and they have the tools to both control, to engage, to disengage if they wanted to. And now when you see them start to play a little bit more on the front from practice, right now they're just punishing Chiefs with great cross-map plays.
Yeah, right now they're going to try and defend this turret. Still an overloaded side of the map for the Chiefs as, again, Liang, Wako is kind of leaving. Whoever's the side that gets overloaded by the Chiefs is kind of on their own island to fend for themselves. To your point, though, whenever they decide to start grouping up, they'll start being very annoying to deal with, walking into Mystic shots, walking into those saplings. We'll have to see how they want to deal with that.
Now the thing is, if Beyond commit to like a 1-3-1, if they do have Aatrox and Sylas on the side lanes and you leave that mid lane to a little bit of like Sapling Toss and Mystic Shot clear, there is a lot of engaged tools that Chiefs are willing to throw. So Beyond cannot be caught off guard or by surprise. If they do go for that option, which I think you can see pretty frequently for the last few minutes, Chiefs are going to try to find a way into the game. And I've got this little comment I want to ask about. We'll see whether or not this engage plays out here. Arthur and Tally starting to back out. That's the engage from Husha. Throws down that Kim tank. Not going to be able to find it just yet. But I haven't been able to get this comment out of my head. I saw you read it last night saying that the way that weaker teams can beat Asian teams is the way that we're seeing these emerging regions beating the likes of NA and EU respectively. Maokai. His ultimate is the single most powerful tool. Now, I'm embellishing the comment a little bit, but the point that I'm trying to make was that Nature's Grasp ultimate is so influential at, you know, stopping flanks, stopping engages, kind of the zone control it gives you can be the difference maker. And I haven't had a chance to talk about it, so I'm just throwing it at you right now, live on air. What do you make of that concept, philosophically?
I think it's a very strong ability. Is it enough to suddenly...
close the gap?
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite that potent. It is situationally strong. I guess normally we say situationally strong, you talk about it only being good in one situation. Yeah. I'm saying it's generally good.
Multiple, yeah.
You can use it for zoning off the turret like we saw. We can use it for disengage. You can use it for engage.
Like secondary engage more than primary, right?
Yeah, well, often what you do, I forget which Maokai I was watching, do it, but you... Oh, hold on here. Kino?
All right, he's going to jump on. Takes a little bit of damage there from Arthur and Raes. Weaver's Wall comes in, insta-stun, goes golden. Tally might just get whacked in the river as Wako is now continuing to chase him down. Minji going low, 304 HP left. Aladoric stays alive. 2 more members. 3 are falling, and Beyond Gaming are looking for the ace. Raes is firing as he runs for the hills. It's 3 members killed by Beyond.
Beyond Gaming reacts once again to the Chiefs' aggression, trying to jump on top of Kino, but like I was saying, for support, he's a notoriously tanky champion on the Alistar. Gave them time to react and collapse on top of them. The Baron situation still a little dicey, but with this teleport coming back in, should stop Topoon and Raes from being able to do anything.
And Minji picked up that hourglass as well, and as it stands, that might just be the final nail in the coffin for Chiefs for the LCO. They lose this, they are eliminated from playoffs. It is a significant deficit to be in, and compositionally, there are a lot of reasons to favor what you're seeing from Beyond.
Yeah, absolutely the case, especially with that Baron buff on now. They've been 1-3-1 this entire time. Here it is, Kino stepping forward. They're trying to blow him up to half his health after committing a fair amount of resources already. Gives time for all these plays to come in. It was a little dicey. Minji coming in from the flank, a little bit ahead of the rest of the teleports, kind of giving himself up as a target to almost die, but the fact that he stole the ultimate from the Zhao, able to stay alive a little bit longer once he got that off, and give the angle for the rest of his team to find that chase down.
When you see the HP bars, Mark, they're so, like, it feels like it's so close. It feels like that Slicing Maelstrom combination plus the Raes as well as Tally damage did a lot. But they're behind in gold, they're on the retreat as well, and unfortunately their initiation attempts, time after time, did not garner them the opportunities they wanted, and maybe the opportunities they needed. So now they find themselves in this gigantic deficit. It's 40 seconds as well until the Cloud Drake is up, and that'll put Beyond onto Soul Point. It's just starting to look like the Chiefs' run at Worlds will be eliminated from playoffs now. They still have 1 more game to play tomorrow, and looking to play Heartbreak will be all that's left for them.
I mean, you can always play Upset.
Oh, yes.
We'll see if they can do it. It was against North America MSI 2021, where Pentanet boomed C9 out of the MSI knockout stage.
And there's that incredibly versatile ultimate once again from Husha. Nature's Grasp throwing down. Tower is secured. Beyond have had all the answers all game long. They've managed to counter-punch every single one, and with Baron empowered minions in this bottom lane, they're now looking for their second inhibitor tower. Chiefs, they don't have the go button yet. Caught out! The hijacked solar flare blinds the Aussies and sends them to the fountain. 2 members left, Tally and Raes. Young's keeping them busy. As the minions are now being ushered through the middle lane as well. Sidestep from Raes. 5 versus 2 against Baron empowered minions. Beyond Gaming looking to eliminate the LCO, looking to pick up their second win of the play-in stage. And now finally picking up that second Nexus turret. It has been a fairly one-sided affair. Beyond eliminate Chiefs from knockouts.
They eliminate the Chiefs and Beyond get one step closer to securing themselves that playoff spot to try and make the group stage, getting up to 2 wins. Joining, I believe it's Loud at 2 wins right now. Detonation Focus Me also at 2 wins. 3 teams sitting in that position. Only 2 of them will get to advance. So Beyond Gaming taking a pretty necessary step continuing on.
Congratulations to them. Chiefs will have one more game tomorrow against Loud, one of the teams you just mentioned in that 2-2 bracket. On the other hand, Beyond will be staring down Fnatic to open the day tomorrow. And seeing Fnatic losing earlier today to Loud will give Beyond Gaming some hope. This version of Beyond was clean. They had an answer to every single question Chiefs threw at them.
Yeah, Beyond looked like they're getting much better throughout this tournament. Obviously, the matchup against Fnatic is very dangerous.
Yes.
The other thing that you can do is suddenly become the Chiefs' biggest fan, because if they're able to beat Loud, that'd be 2 teams at 2 and 3. I believe then a tiebreaker is played for that potential 4th spot. We'll have to see how messy it can get.
Yeah.
But I don't think next game for Beyond is beat Fnatic or you're out. There are some other situations that, of course, we'll be updating as we go throughout. Tomorrow, especially, maybe we'll make a foldy sheet. I heard someone was trying to pressure someone to do
what
it.
If I absolutely want to follow? I asked Freak if he could give me just a fake one until our League Ops team can give us. But if Detonation Focus Me pick up a win against Evil Geniuses, they'll be at 3 and 2. If Fnatic lose to Beyond, they'll all be 3 and 2. There is a possibility for there to be many, many games tomorrow to figure out who beats who in the standings.
You know what? We had one 10-hour broadcast day in day 1. I thought that was a lot of fun. We should do it again tomorrow.
It was training. It was training for tomorrow. We're going to head back over to the State Farm analyst desk to break down that game.
Thank you so much. A quick shot. And while it is all smiles over there in the BYG camp for putting another win in the win column, unfortunately, this does spell the end for Chiefs. While they have another game to play, mathematically eliminated from group stage contention.
Yeah, definitely a very, very disappointing end of the year for Chiefs. I know for the LCO in general, Order made the upset run to qualify for MSI. They had like a really bad draw in the play-in stage there, weren't able to pick up a win. They had this draw, which is a little bit easier, but still 2 major regions
on the tougher side of it, yeah.
And they've lost the 2 games versus the other like non-major regions. So even though they are eliminated, I think it would be really, really nice if they could pick up that win. Like getting that one international win for the year would be great, because they have actually had such a good year in isolation in the LCO, going 40 wins and 2 losses in the regular season, being a game away from a perfect split 2. Like, they accomplished so much, and like literally the odds are more stacked against this region than any other region in the world. So I don't need to get into all that now, but I believe it to be true. So tough draw for them, and I hope they can pick up that win.
Yeah, same. And again, it's one of those things where it does kind of feel bad that your defining moment has to be here at Worlds, because I feel like the Chiefs players can still look back on this year and be like, hey, this was a success. Obviously, things changing with the meta as well. They came in, we talked about some of their reads. Like, could have been different scenario had Chiefs come in, you know, again, a little bit differently prepared.
Reliving this game as it broke down, or hopefully in just a moment.
Yeah, that was it.
Or not. That was it. That was the whole game.
It's too ugly to watch.
Hope you guys caught that. It was pretty quick. Sylas started roaming, and that's how you know it's a disaster. No. Well, actually, Sylas did pop off in this game. Let's be real. So actually, maybe that was the perfect image for it all, as we're back into the highlights for the game. I mean, BYG, I hope this is a confidence builder. As much as we talk about, you know, how it was a tough loss for Chiefs, I think very specifically, Minji in the mid lane put up a huge performance. And on a pick like Sylas, when we consider a number of the other mid laners in this play-in stage lyric, and considering then how much, you know, or how the quality of mid laners at the top end of the table who will be playing in those best of 5s or securing the first seed out, you're going to need Minji to be able to put up stuff like this to compete.
And we've seen in their wins, Minji has been proactive. He has been one of the big playmakers for the roster that has led them forward. Even moving to their roster change coming into this game, right? Liang is someone who has played on the international stage before, has played with these players as compared to Likai, who coming in, right, first international tournament. So I like that BYG came in with a comfortable look, and we got to see their playmakers pop off.
What do you make of that roster swap, Jat? Like, do we think that this is something that is going to be necessary for BYG's success? It's a second team now to kind of show us that they're willing to go two different ways when it's not a necessity or a requirement.
I'll think they'll keep this change going into tomorrow. I think actually going into this game, both of these teams were in very desperate situations where they really needed to start picking up victories. So when you're like that, you change something, right? We saw a Teemo being picked by ADD in the previous game. You're kind of trying a little bit of everything. So mixing just up a player, there's not going to be as big of a skill discrepancy between individual and individual as many people think a lot of the time. So a lot of times it's just about getting that fresh start and a new perspective in there.
Definitely, right? And so again, it makes you wonder whether or not each of these teams are going to be continuing to make swaps, whether they are as they work their way through groups, or whether or not they're landing on their final rosters. On the other side of this break, the Wildcats' world's hopes are on the line as they face off against Juggernaut's RNG. But as we ready up for that match, check out Burn It All Down by Paris on the League of Legends official playlist on Spotify. You can find that song and much more in the League of Legends hub on Spotify, and we'll see you back here in just a few.
Pretty little flower, won't you sit back down and go play nice? So keep talking.